Hello, check.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to yet another edition of Time Pass with the New Indian Express. I have with me today Shoojit Sircar, one of India's most beloved filmmakers, who makes everything from bodily fluids to a crumbling old mansion in Lucknow. He makes it so relatable and so lovable. And one of, I think, India's most sensitive filmmakers as well. He seems to know exactly how middle class India's heart beats. So, welcome, Shujit, from the city of Calcutta, which I think must be an inspiration to you as it is to many others who've grown up there and spent some time there. It's a city full of stories and full of magic, a lot of hardships as well. So it tells us really how to live our best life. And also, many congratulations on Gulabo Sitabo. I'm so glad that you released it on Amazon and we got to see it during these times. So, first, of course, before I let you even get in a word in edgeways, I have to ask about, I think, the tragic death that we saw just a couple of days ago of Sushant Singh Rajput, a very young actor. I'm sure you've interacted with him. I wanted to ask what you felt. I mean, it's a stupid question, but it really is a great loss, isn't it?
Yes, of course. I mean, I just came out of. I was trying to get out of Irfan Khan's death, and
Yeah,
then this happens. So I think, yeah, I think it's a tragedy. Of course, it's the tragedy of situation. It's the tragedy of the moment in our lives. Um, a lot of people are talking about that it's a mental stress and depression, but I think for somebody to take his own life, there must be many reasons to it. Just one reason won't be enough for somebody to take his life.
right.
What goes on to that in that person's head, nobody knows. Only that person. So even if it's a momentary or what, but I think yes, it's sad, and I think uh, this should be discussed in a positive way, not in a negative way, because one death should not trigger any other things, any other depression patients.
Hmm.
So I think it's really very sensitively handled with people because depression is a certain, it's a, such a kind of a human behavior uh, which is uh, which is more dangerous than a virus.
Hmm.
It's got a very much of, it's got a triggering, what I call attitude
Yeah,
in its role.
right.
So yeah, it's quite lost for the industry. It's quite bad for the industry, and I think we all are feeling a little shameful. But yeah, what can we do at this moment?
Yeah. Did you interact much with him, Shuji?
Less. I've interacted with him mostly on stages, and he knows me. He's been in. Uh, of course, he wanted to work with me, so I knew it that much.
Yeah,
Not not too personally. Yeah.
yeah. Sujit, what is the reaction to Gulabo Sitabo been? It's such a lovely little film, and it talks about the passing of an era, in front of our eyes virtually. And there's so many aspects to it. I'll come to them one by one. But first, I wanted to ask you about the reaction to it because the fact that you did finally release it on streaming, despite uh, a huge outrage from the theater owners.
Uh, the reaction has been quite mixed actually.
Huh?
So some people have really enjoyed and have lots of praises and love.
Yeah.
Some people have they've been quite disappointed with the film
Mm.
because of its pace.
Yeah.
So these are the two reactions basically coming in.
Right.
Basically, a lot of people think that the film is really slow, and a lot of people, not lot, and some people expected this to be Piku 2 or Wiki Donor Part 2.
Right.
So so Gulabo Sitabo is Gulabo Sitabo. This
Exactly.
can't be Piku or this can't be Wiki Donor.
Yeah.
Uh,
But Lucknow is so lovingly displayed here, almost as lovingly as Amitabh Bachchan and Ayushmann Khurrana. How much of a factor was it in your filmmaking? It's almost like a character.
Yes, I think Lucknow and especially the Fatima Mahal, the Haveli,
Yes.
I think they were very important characters in the film. Because I think Fatima Mahal, somebody wrote to me, Fatima Mahal is the hero of this film, uh,
Absolutely.
and Begum the heroine.
Yeah.
I said, I said yes, you well said. Yes, it is. Um, the film is set in old city, so I've tried to be there in the old city
Hmm.
because the film actually revolves around this Begum, Mirza, and Bake.
Right.
These three characters. So I have not ventured too much out in the new Lucknow.
Yeah.
Is their places of work and where they go around.
Right.
Um, so the Mirza is little awara types. He doesn't have any work. He just loiters around and eats, and you don't know what he does. And there are old men of that age who do like this. They don't know what they're doing. They're going around
Yeah.
sitting. So I call him a little awara old man. Of course, Bake is just managing somehow hand to mouth, somehow is
Yeah.
managing his life. And Begum is a royal. She lives like, she still thinks she's in that glory.
Yeah. And
That's,
keeps talking about Nehruji, which I
ha,
love.
so she has a little, memory. She's still living in that era.
Right.
And yes, and बीच बीच में नेहरू जी आ जाते हैं. And of course, she is little troubled with her memory.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I think. But she is still lives with her royal way. These in these Havelis, people used to live. With that
Right.
legacy.
Right.
Um, it's very difficult to let go. But
Yeah.
she doesn't let Mirza uh, rule the house at all. She
Not
rules
at all.
everything.
Absolutely.
She doesn't let anybody enter the room. Also,
Yeah.
Mirza will have to ask permissions that can he enter the room. So that's how is our Begum is.
So Fatima Mahal is an actual place. Is it someone's Haveli? Was it someone's home?
Yes, it is in Kesar Bagh, and it's a part of the Mahmudabad Palace.
Okay.
And when we found that location,
This is
and
a disputed property, isn't it, Shujit? The one that I think because he went to Pakistan, they still don't know. Is it
I
the
don't
same
know the
property?
details.
Okay.
I'm not aware of the details. So they allowed us to shoot. Of course, the condition of the some portion of the house was really dilapidated. Uh, so when I went back after seeing the location, I told Juhi to do some changes according to the structure of this because
Right.
we had to establish this Haveli, and this was our world. So I was trying to create this world in such a way that we know in and out of the Haveli who lives where and
Yeah.
how.
Yeah.
So that we managed finally when we saw the house. Earlier, when we were scripting, our house structure was a little different,
Right.
but then we adapted this house as we got this location into the script. And when my cinematographer came, he decided that we'll shoot this film in one single lens. And it was
Okay.
the wide lens that you see. That's why you see everything wide. Everything
Why?
is visible. Everything is
Yeah.
visible.
Right.
So he said it's a story of these people, so we should not hide anything. Everything should be naked.
Right.
So that's why you see everything is shot in one single 30 prime lens,
Right.
and close up or wide is all white.
Yeah. And the women, of course, everyone has loved the women in the film. Whether it's Farooq or Farooq Jafar or Shrishti, that's Guddu, right?
Yes,
Who Brijendra Kala's words for her perfect. She's just too good, too good. So
and Fauzi
and
also, I think
Fawzia, of
she's
course, yeah.
Fauzi,
So these women are so engagingly written and so beautifully shown. Talk a little about each of them.
Well, I'll start with Fauzia first. I'll come to Begum later.
Yeah,
Fauzia is also um, she's also has her own mind,
yeah,
and she's ready to possibly um, can could have possibly married Bake. We don't know,
yeah,
uh, but you could see that relationship is like friends with benefits kind of
yeah,
relationship. They meet at the Atta Chakki, so that's a bizarre place to meet. So
They don't just meet there, Shujit. They do a lot more.
yes, I know. Yes, I know. So that's what I'm saying. It's a friends with benefits there. Uh, uh, so I think, but she's very clear. I think finally she chooses what she wants to do, and
Yeah,
she wants to. Uh, she decides her own life, and she marries a man with who's got a car and who's good, and she looks for luxury in her life, and I think she has got the right to do it. She comes and, of course, sarcastically, she comes here and she says bye to him, which
yeah.
was
But
really
I love the way she says it, Shujit. That is the beauty of your cinema. Without saying much, you say so much. You have Fauziya asking for organic atta. So, and then of course she says, "Yahan kahan milega? Mall mein." So immediately she establishes that she is a step up above him. You know.
yes. I mean, he can't reach him. She's moved on in
Yeah.
life, and तुम वहीं के वहीं पे हो. Basically, you are
Exactly.
still there. You have
Exactly.
not. Yeah.
So it's not just
Uh,
the car, it's also the way she asks for that atta, and
yes.
it's
Yes.
so beautiful.
It's basically also that you will be a loser because
Huh,
Bake has you've not been able to smart enough to deal with your life one, and
right.
you've been a greedy, so of course
Yeah.
life has set you back there. So that's what I felt.
Yeah.
With Guddo, I think Guddo also was very clear in her life that what she wants to do.
Yeah.
She is an absolute jugaad woman,
Absolutely.
and for her family, she is ready to do and all the jugards, whatever.
Right.
She
Right.
also had three boyfriends. Her boyfriend says कि हम
Yeah.
तीसरे हैं,
Huh.
and she says, हाँ मतलब दूसरों के साथ मजा नहीं आया. So she's very independent sexually also,
Yeah.
which is also not overtly shown, nothing, but it's
Yeah.
just very that she's strong in that way. I mean, she has decided, she's already decided and sorted
Yeah.
what she wants in her life, and she is so. And of course, she has got two sisters. She knows she has a mother,
Yeah.
and also somewhere down the line, I think she knows that finally I'm going to take care of this family,
Yeah.
not my brother,
Exactly.
because he doesn't look like strong enough.
Yeah.
And these characters, both Mirza and Bake, have shown enough of their foolishness,
Yeah.
through their whatever acts,
Right.
so that they can. And of course, she's much more literate in terms of her knowledge because she's studying and she's graduating. And her brother has, of course, because of the Chucky,
Yeah.
he couldn't, yeah. So,
Also, I think the fact that she can speak English, it's a big thing.
also,
Yeah.
yes, of
Yeah.
course, she's a bit knowledgeable in terms of she studied better, at least in her
Yeah.
in academics than, of course, this. And that's why she goes with full front foot with the archaeology Ganesh, that get
Yeah.
me a job, even if she has to you know be with him in a in a lodge,
Yes.
you know
She's
so
quite happy
she,
to do that.
yeah, doesn't mind.
Yeah.
She has got her motto fixed, and she
Yeah.
knows where to go. So I think that was quite progressive in a way of her own choices. I
Yeah.
think that's absolutely, she has her own
And
choices. And
actually, now there's so many young women who realize that they have to take care of the families. The brothers may not necessarily be able to do it. So
of
it's not
course, yeah,
surprising. You see so many young women like this
yes, exactly.
across
And I think
clubs.
it should be like this also. I
Yeah.
think it's just that we have never given that chance possibly. We
Yeah.
never thought like that possibly. Yes. And finally, as I said, I've already given you Begum, who Begum is. Begum is, of course, the rock star.
Yeah.
See, Begum knows. I think Begum clarifies everything in that one letter. What
Yeah.
she is,
Yeah.
you know, what were the human side to her, and what she wanted, she got back.
Right.
She even asks him that, uh, see, in the last scene also, if you see, it's very clear and evident that he married him for Haveli, she married him for her sexuality.
Right.
That's very clear. That उन्होंने तुम पे क्या देखा, मेरी जवानी देखा,
Very
and
Jawani. And when he says that, you really crack up because Amitabh Bachchan looks so affronted that anyone could ask him. I
because
mean,
I think she got married to a man who is 15 year old, younger to
younger,
her, and
yeah,
of course, sexuality would have played a major
of course.
yeah, in her mind. So, and she finally leaves and she goes. I mean, she says, I would have given the Haveli to you, but when I thought she wants to keep her father's heritage
Right.
safe and sound, and she doesn't want to get it out. And that's her emotional bit with the Haveli, which I think everybody has.
Yeah,
They
of
want to
course.
Haveli is like your father or the mother or in
Yeah.
your house, anything. So that's what she does.
So, for Amitabh Bachchan to walk around with that hunch and, to wear all that prosthetic makeup, I mean, he must have had a blast. He must have been laughing behind that makeup all the time. How difficult was it to, you know, uh, control the laughter on the set actually? Because both of them played so straight, Banke and Amitabh Bachchan. But the
Yes.
lines are actually so funny.
Yeah. See, see, only I knew that Mr. Bachchan, because nobody could recognize him first on the set. Because so, like as Ayushman said, I didn't feel Bachchan Saab was acting. I was thinking it was Mirza, and I would go to his ears, Ayushman, because in the beginning few days he was little hesitant, but I'll say he's not Amitabh Bachchan, he's Mirza, he's Mirza,
Yeah.
he's Mirza, always in his ears.
Yeah.
So so that the bantering can be quite smooth and should be believable. But
Right.
for Mirza, it was I knew that Mr. Bachchan is laughing. Actually, nobody could understand that. I know him for the last 16, 17 years now. I can
Yeah.
see his eyes and I know what is he thinking and what is he doing there.
Yeah.
So little bit of an idea I have. But uh, for him to carry this posture or this even the just a min min karke baat
Ah,
karna, very just keep on just mumbling something all the time. Of all this, I think brought his character more Mirza than obviously all the time we talk about that Mr. Bachchan
the
somewhere
Bachchan.
character is
Yeah.
always there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think this time he
This time he just
deconstructed himself.
yeah, he just disappeared into Mirza, I think. Just
Yes, I think that's what absolutely his credit to go to way he looked, the way he behaved. Uh, like basically उसको बोलते भी हैं कि and anybody could say anything to him.
yeah.
So there are many days on the set he will come and sit there and he will tell
On his
Ayushman,
4 chairs.
he will say with four chairs and he'll say पता नहीं मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ इस फिल्म में जो भी आ रहा है गाली दे के जा रहा है मेरे को. uh,
Must have been a new experience for him.
हाँ. तो आयुष्मान सो मैंने बोला नहीं सर ये तो है ही ऐसे बोलते नहीं मालूम है सुजीत ये छोड़ेगा नहीं ये मुझे मालूम है सबसे बोल रहा है गाली दे दो बस बकरी बचा है गाली देने के लिए बाकी सबने दे दिया है.
Was Ayushman a little intimidated?
Only first few days possibly
Ah,
I guess. I mean of
ah,
course you have Amitabh Bachchan sir in front, so it is you cannot avoid that.
ah.
It's just that when he was camera was rolling and he will hunch and Ayushman said that he was so close to me I felt him. I didn't feel Amitabh Bachchan, that
Ah. Yeah, the
uh,
height and
yeah,
all that.
yeah, and yeah. So I think first few days, yes, but then it was all okay. Then I think everything went smooth.
And Ayushman's lisp is again very interesting. You gave him a lisp.
It was not my idea; it was his idea. So I was
Oh,
so
acha.
thankful to him. Yeah. So in the beginning, it was not. So before just before we were about to go and we were doing a costume trial a day before in the evening. Before that, we have spoken and we knew
Yeah.
what to do. So last day he came up with this thought that Shweta, just see how I'm speaking. Do you think it can work?
Ah,
And he did that.
yeah.
And instantly I loved it. I said, absolutely just go for it.
Yeah.
I said, will you be able to hold it and carry on to the entire film? He said, yes, it's easy for me. I can do it.
Mm.
I said, then I think that gave a character to him, I think.
Yeah, that somehow added to that loserish persona. Uh,
Yes, yeah, they're both losers. Yeah, exactly.
but it's also quite sad in a way, isn't it, Shujit? Because it talks to us about our times, people who know the price of everything but the value of nothing. For me, that last scene, I'm sorry, but to give just a little away, that scene with the chair, that's that idiotic Mirza sells for 250 rupees, and then you see it in that antique shop. That for me symbolizes actually what we have become, as a
Yes,
society
of
as well.
course.
No?
Yes, absolutely. That was the satire.
Yeah,
That was the satire that I really wanted to put as a full stop and
yeah,
see and introspect that that's where we are.
right.
So we go to an antique shop and we see a chair or a table.
Yeah,
So there is a journey behind possibly somebody like Mirza or Banke at
right,
at the first beginning of this journey.
right.
Somebody might have, has not got the price or that it's come to,
Yeah,
or must have been gone through, whatever.
yeah,
So I think that was the metaphor that I used for this
yeah,
entire film, actually.
right, right.
So it was added later, and I wanted that shot for sure. Yes, I think it is a tragedy at the end.
Yeah,
Satires are tragedy at the end of the
yes,
day, and and because it's a tragic story at the end, because
yeah,
uh, uh, I mean, in simple way, greed doesn't take you anywhere. I mean, the poetic justice that nature has on, or life gives you back, um, and it gives them back. So, so I think thought was that. So, somewhere down the line that, if you hang on to that greed,
yeah.
um, somewhere it comes back to you. It's like a full circle.
Absolutely. And in a way, I mean, you couldn't have made it at a better time, The timing is so amazingly perfect. This is a movie that speaks to us at this time when we are reassessing everything. Was that a happy coincidence? Or did you feel that, you know,
Yes, I guess it's a happy coincidence. Unfortunately, yes. Um, this film is almost like what the song, at the end
oh my God, that
says.
song is
Yeah.
just amazing.
So
I'm going
it's
to ask you to
inspired.
sing a little bit of it later.
So it's a so I think uh, the tragedy and the tragic is, of course, it hits you at the end because you don't know every day our human behavior.
Yeah,
Like what you said in this lockdown, possibly it's a right time for people to introspect. I doubt everybody will because people's memory is very, very short.
yeah,
But whoever it must have touched, it will touch quite deep, possibly.
yeah,
Like it
yeah,
has touched me deep to think when I was doing this film also
yeah.
that nothing is planned, so everything is quite unplanned. But it's a tragic times, and I think introspection is very important. And I think uh, minimalism has come in again. I guess for a lot of people.
Yes.
So I think a lot of things comes together, to encapsulating this entire film.
And that song, we cannot not talk about the song. That's Rahul Ram singing it. The
Yes.
lyrics, that's Do Din Ka Mela Hai. And that Mati Ka, you'll have to sing a
Marty,
little bit.
yeah, no, I don't know how to sing, but I think हाँ,
Never
दो
mind.
दिन का ये मेला है,
हाँ,
आना है, जाना है, या माटी
Mati
का
Ka,
माटी
Mati
का
Ka
बर्तन
Bartan.
है, माटी में मिल जाना है.
So wonderful.
So I think the inspiration was very straight. That my brief to them was Kabir. So I wanted and them to get inspiration from Kabir's Doha,
Right,
and I thought Kabir's Doha are complete life lesson.
right,
And my only one point brief was this to them, uh, Kabir, but almost like क्या लेके आए हैं, क्या लेके जाएंगे.
right.
So that was the brief. And this Puneet gentleman, he is not from here. It's the first film that he has written.
Okay.
So he wrote the song, and Anuj Garg, who has done a couple of more songs, and the Bandar song, Bandar hai dug dugi ke saath
Right,
naachta hai.
right, right.
So that song, he just did it and sent it to me.
Yeah.
And the song tonality came from the theme track that Shantanu created. So everything in the beginning, I did not wanted to keep music in this film. Music means,
Okay.
I mean, the songs.
Right.
So it was all added later. So I strongly believe in scores.
Hmm.
So Shantanu created a score which is about with Dugdagi and Iktara, and which has
Right.
also got very very difficult to create. I think
Yeah.
a bit of a Bengal touch is also
Yeah,
there.
I was
Lucknow
about
touch is
to say
also
it's
there.
almost like a baul song, that
Yes, it
Dodin
is.
Kamela. It has a huge Bengali influence.
Yes, even our title theme track also has got
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah,
and of course, bit of an inspiration from Bengali music also.
yeah.
So then from there, the tonality of the songs came in. So that's how this Do Din Ka Mela and Kya Leke Aayenge, then Bandar, and all that came
Wonderful.
from that theme track.
So that makes it what? Yet another successful film for you, Shujit. Do the pressure sometimes mount because what Vicky Donor, Madras Cafe, Piku, October, Gulabo Sitabo in between produced Pink, which was also true. And these are not just commercially successful films, some more than others, but also films that have redefined, uh, how we watch and consume cinema in many ways. So, what has each film sort of given you? What has it given you? What has it taught you?
Kaveri, you make films and you somewhere down inside you, it steers you.
Yeah,
It shakes you.
yeah,
And if it doesn't shake you, then there's no point making a film. So, because I don't just make films for any commercial reasons. For me, it's always been, all the films have been life lessons for me.
right.
And so when somebody tells me that your film is slow and your film is pace nahi tha, maza nahi aaya, fine. I mean, you can not agree with all my films. That's not a
Yeah.
problem. All my points, but you can't ignore the art. You
Hmm.
know, you can ignore. You can't ignore the art. For example, I am also, as a human being, I am also uh, maturing. I am not still that same person what I was in Vicky Dona.
Or even Yaha in
Or,
2005,
yes, or Yahan, or
which
Piku.
actually was a beautiful, beautiful film. I mean, we should start with Yaha, one of the best films I've seen in one of the, and such a difficult topic. Kashmir is so tough to do, It was very
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. It was difficult for me also, my first film. So as I said, lot of people went to see Gulabo Sitabo thinking that it's going to be a Piku 2 or a Vicky Donor. No,
right.
it's Gulabo, and the pace of Gulabo is like this. That's what I thought.
Yeah,
So and me as a person has also, since October, have quite happy that my pace is like this.
right.
I have slowed down as a human being also,
Yeah, yeah,
uh, because I enjoy the slow space.
yeah,
I am no more a restless anymore. So I think that reflects in my films.
right,
So if I don't reflect in my films, then I will be cheating with my audience and my films. I
right,
absolutely agree with a lot of people that the films are slow, but I have taken life like that, and I'm very happy with it.
right. Yeah. And also, there are different kinds of humor. I mean, you can have a Vicky Donor, ha ha ha, laugh out loud, and you can have a more subtle humor like Gulabo. So, not everything has to be
So yes, I know. What happens is, once you do Wiki Donor, the Bollywood has an habit of branding you that okay, now it's a comedy.
right.
But I didn't promise that it's going to be a comedy. I always said it's going to be social satire.
Hmm.
It's going to be a satire. So, and you have to see it differently.
Hmm.
I faced the same criticism when I did October also.
Yeah.
October was much more as a cinema in terms of, it's almost like a meditation.
Yes.
Because I was doing a film
On
on
death.
the brain surgery and the breath and death, and
On death.
and the and neuroscience. And neuroscience is a huge subject. You can't be in 2 hours. It's difficult, but I tried as
Yeah.
much to talk about neuroscience and beyond neuroscience.
Yeah.
Um, So same here with Gulabo. I have tried to pick up human behaviors, which we do it every day.
Yeah.
We are we are greedy every day in small things. We
Yes.
lie. Sometimes we are not truthful every day. We are not truthful to ourselves.
Right.
So I think so that was very important in Gulabo.
For me, when I look at the end of Piku as well, a good death is actually a marvelous thing, isn't it? But you don't get enough of a good death in Hindi movies. I mean, you get dramatic deaths. You have like Anand kind of deaths, where and people then writing letters like in Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, writing letters post death and all that. You have these dramatic deaths, but a kind of happy death that you show in Piku. And then even in October, actually, there is some amount of lightness in deaths there. That's such a
See,
difficult thing to capture. How
that's a
important?
that's a very personal belief that I have
Yeah,
with death.
yeah,
My fascination with death has been there for quite some time.
right,
I've seen deaths around me, in my family, and I've studied human. I've studied. That's my subject almost.
right.
So I think I, I believe in this that a death shouldn't be a death shouldn't be mourned. I think it should be celebrated
Hmm.
because when that body wants to get out, of course
Yeah,
the soul wants to get out. Um, some people say in a scientific way it's just the body, it's nothing else. I mean, some spiritual way people say it's a body and soul and all. So I think uh, science has moved on really in terms of everything, but they're not able to capture death.
no,
So that's one thing for sure. And when you take birth, whatever is planned or not planned, you don't know. But one thing is planned, that you're going to die.
exactly.
So let that fact sink in and be ready and be sure. So I think that's why I don't want to over dramatize death and so much. I just want to take it as simple, as easy. That's why this song, कि आना है जाना है,
Yeah, exactly.
जीवन चलते जाना है.
And almost even in Piku, there's almost a happiness. This person who's trapped in his own body, finally finds release. And I love the way he finds it. He finally eats jalebis and street food, and he's obviously so happy about it. And uh, there's a lot to it. I think even the way we mourn our the people who pass on. Again, you do that very well. That's from observing people around you, your own experiences.
Yes, and also I believe in that. So, me personally, there, possibly how I would react. It's a similar way I want my actor to react.
Right. Yet, the passing of Irfan, we have to mention that because it really was a big setback for you. Do you want to talk a little about it?
Yes, I mean Irfan. I told you I couldn't. I'm still unable to get him out of my head.
Right.
Last few days of his life, 10 days, I've been talking, and I was not with him. So I was in Kolkata, and because of lockdown, and he was in the hospital. Uh, and I was interacting with Shrutapa and Babil,
Hmm.
and so on the phone call, it was saying. Then Shrutapa was saying that I would not give him to ventilator. I will just keep him. I said, yeah. So there's a lot of thing going on, And
Right.
last 2 years, uh, I've been quite close to him. So we have discussed many things. We have discussed books, minus
Right.
films. We have discussed everything about life,
Everything.
yeah, about
But I
death,
think
about
that was
magic.
Irfan, no? I mean, he would talk, I think, about everything except the movies.
Yes. So that's what. Yeah, he is like that. So no, it's very. I can't. It's difficult to believe. So it's difficult to believe. It's difficult to get him out. He keeps coming. So if I close my eyes, one glimpse, I'll have one glimpse of his. So let's see when will I. But I don't. I think he's a huge loss industry as an actor. But for me, yes, I think everybody's thought is a personal loss.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
You came very close on the sets of Pico?
Oh yes, I think I was quite close, but I think this last 2 years of his um, uh, this medical treatment that was going on, in these periods I was quite close to him. I
Right.
became quite close. Yeah, I think he only spoke to me. Very few people he spoke. So he spoke to me in quite
What did he
in
talk to
length.
you about, Shujit?
Uh, Many things. Of course, first few minutes will go in, of course, what treatment is going on and how and what. And then he will say, and he'll smile and he's astonished that, just imagine how is this virus or this bacteria is behaving. ये कमाल ये कैसे हो गया है ये से मतलब, he's just thinking that, this this cancerous bacteria or virus, whatever it is, how magical that is, how I'm discovering my body now, how I'm discovering my brain.
Right.
I didn't know anything. So all that. We will also do some breathing exercises, both of us. I will tell. So Dada, मैं breathing कर रहा हूँ. I'm doing. I've extended my time. So and I'm enjoying the breathing. I'm doing this. Uh, then he'll talk. अरे chemotherapy क्या चीज है? ये क्या चीज है ये? Don't worry about it. So all that we will talk. So it was, and I will try as much, to motivate him.
Right.
But you must understand, he's a very sharp man also,
Yeah.
he's very, so, you
Yeah.
can't
Fool.
fool him. Yeah. So he's very sharp. So
Yeah.
I would be as normal and I would talk as much.
You're also very close to Mr. Bachchan, but that must be a different kind of relationship. You can't have that kind of relationship with, or if you do, then you're one of very few. But he is a different animal, so to speak, right?
Yeah. I call him he's an enthusiastic 20-year-old boy, 19-year-old boy. just he just, he just wants to perform. He just wants to be active.
Right,
He doesn't want to sit idle.
right,
I think it's quite good at the age of this 78. You just want to be active and participate. I think it's quite good. I
right.
think that's his tick. That keeps him ticking, all the time.
Hmm.
Um, uh, yes, of course. I mean, now we talk quite often. We will just call each other and sometimes talk. Of course, we are still not. I'm not still his friend as such, but we respect each other.
Right.
And there is a kind of a there's a kind of a bonding there. We can talk anything, and we know it will be between us.
Hmm.
So that trust,
Yeah.
I think, we have matured to.
Which he has with very few people, I think. So that's quite remarkable. What about Ayushman, given that you created Vicky Donor and that sort of led him on to do so much interesting work? How was it coming back to work with him in Gulabo Sitabo? How has he evolved as an actor?
Oh, his was very good. I think I can't believe that, if you look back and if you distance yourself and look Gulabo Sitabo,
Hmm.
you will see that he has disappeared in the crowd.
Yeah.
He doesn't shout out that, okay, I am the also Ayushman and I am a star of this generation at this moment, budding star or star, whatever. So, uh, so I think that's the beauty of Ayushman. I just felt he just jumped out of Vicky Dona's set and he came to um, Gulabo Sitabo. Of course, there's been 8 years,
Yeah.
but I didn't feel that because he knew that he's coming to Dada's set, Shweta's set. So
Ah,
he will say, I am going to Shweta's set. So he knew our set, how we work,
right.
how we function. So I think this act of disappearing yourself in the middle of all the characters, I think it's a sign of a good actor.
Hmm.
And so I think that's what I've seen, and that's what I give credit to him, that, he didn't leap out at all.
Hmm.
And I wanted an ensemble cast with everybody coming out as much. Of course, Mirza came out because of Mirza,
Mirza.
is that, but I think Bake was as brilliant as everybody else.
And so were the other actors, Vijay Raj, Brijendra Kala. I think people haven't seen so much of Brijendra Kala, but he's just, as he would say, too good.
Yes, of course. It's just absolutely, they played their part. I mean, and there are people like Christopher Clark who are there in Lucknow,
That,
who
of
are
course,
turned
was a
Christians. Yeah.
little joke that you had obviously made. The name was just too perfect. But Shujit, I also want to bring you back to the women characters, whether it's Piku or Pink or even actually Vicky Donor. I mean, I think Yami's character is a very strong and, evolved character. Uh, is that again from observing people around you or consciously wanting to make progressive films? What is it?
I think slow after my marriage, I think then I have two kids, two daughters,
Oh,
and I have
good.
and I have a lot of women around me. Um, uh, my costume stylist, my writer, Juhi,
Juhi.
my art director, Mansi. So I have a lot of HODs who are women and all around.
And
So I think
all long term, right? For a
it's all
long,
long time.
yeah,
Yeah, for a long time. Absolutely. 15, 16 years I
yeah,
know them,
yeah,
Veera Kapoor,
yeah.
my makeup. And when you have two daughters also, and you understand, and you introspect the things that you have not done. And I think that makes you go back and understand, maybe a little bit more perspective.
Hmm.
Um, uh, I won't say it was there naturally in me from the beginning, but slowly, when you keep acquiring and when you keep understanding, I think it naturally then comes in your system, in your behavior.
Yeah.
So, um, so I think it's now naturally. I don't want to make it like an underlying factor at all, and
Right.
I never did. So they naturally are independent women, from Piku to Pishi to whatever, to Yami to BG to whoever,
Oh, yeah.
or
How could I forget
or the mother of Shivli, October. She was
exactly?
such progress. She's an independent woman. She
Amazing.
was emotionally completely destroyed, but she was a professor in IIT. And what she did, she was just tremendous. I think one of the best I think I've come
And
across.
what great casting! How did you cast Gitanjali Rao? I mean, she's a filmmaker, I know, but she was just. I mean, she was, I think, born to play that role. How did
I
you
think
cast
so.
her?
I think so. I think she'll never played anything. And she told me that, I'm just trusting you. Long back, I did a commercial
Oh,
where I just requested her for one small part to play. She didn't say yes, yes. I said, I will not, if you feel not right, you can
right.
walk out of the set. And also, because she is very strict in that way.
Yeah,
And she has her own aura, and
yeah,
she's a lovely lady.
absolutely.
Uh, she did that. And so again, I went and this, so she told me, do you think I can do it? I never acted. So, for this, I said, you will do it. You just be what you are, the way you are.
Yeah,
I think you see Gitanjali Rao as Shivli's mother. I think
absolutely.
that's what you see.
It's wonderful. I have some questions from the audience as well, Shujit, before we let you go. But I have to ask you, will we ever get to see Shoe Bite? Is it done? Will we ever get to see it?
In this lockdown period, I think a lot has been spoken about Shubite, and I'm thankful to Aishman and especially Anurag. Anurag has been really trying hard to somehow make sure that the film releases.
Yeah.
So now, though, Anurag called me 2 days back, and he said, I am taking this as my fight, and I will take this, make sure that it releases. I will talk everybody, over the studio, people, Manoj and Shyamalan, everyone I'll talk to.
Right.
I hope, because now everything is with Disney, and Disney is a big company now, a big
Right.
production house. It has got under its arm, it's got Fox also and UTV.
Yeah.
So I think they can, in between them, they can sort out all the issues.
And I don't think it'll be dated, right? What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, when we were making it, it had a long shelf life.
Right.
I guess it will have a long shelf life. Maybe mobile phones have changed.
So that's Amitabh Bachchan and Sarika, right?
That's Amitabh Bachchan, Sarika, Jimmy Shergill, Dia Mirza.
Oh, wow. Great cast. Yeah. It would be lovely to watch it. I hope we finally get to see it. And also,
And
what about your. Sorry?
and Sanjida Khan, there's
Oh,
television actress. It's the first
okay.
feature film.
Okay.
Okay,
What
yeah,
about your
sorry.
documentary on Mr. Bachchan?
See, let me clear this. It's not a documentary. It's just like a memorabilia. Memories that I have spent. I'm just collecting those and keeping it
Okay.
with me. That's what it is.
Okay. So you'll see what you want to do with that.
Yes, it's for personal reasons. I don't know when will I be able to do it.
Okay, so questions from the audience. Sharan asks, almost all your movies have been remade in South Indian languages. Have you seen them? What did you think of Tamil remakes like Nerkona Parvai?
Unfortunately, I haven't seen any of the remakes, Pink or Vicky Dona,
Okay.
but I have heard that uh, some of them have done really well.
Hmm.
And I'm really happy that Ajit is playing the character of Mr. Bachchan. He played the character from Pink.
Right,
So I'm grateful that he thought this is an important film, an important character. So thank you so much. I haven't
right.
watched it. I will watch it soon.
Have you ever considered making a rom-com at any time? Priyam asks.
Rom-com.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, I think Piku was a romantic comedy. I think somewhere down the line,
of course.
but its definition for me and you may be a little different. But even Vicky Donor was a little rom-com. So I
Yeah.
think we had, yeah.
Does it upset you when deep moving movies like October get trolled?
Um, yeah, you feel little. I wish you've got it. Uh, you know, but then I would convince myself, maybe not today, tomorrow, because
Right,
I think what's wrong with the industry is they think only film is only Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
right,
They don't think that film is much beyond that. When a film is made, it's got its own shelf life.
right.
Um, so yes, but in this lockdown, I think maximum of the responses that I got was on October,
Hmm.
and a lot of people watched it because I think they got some time, and I think they got some lot of time in this lockdown. So I think I got some really brilliant and beautiful messages.
Hmm.
So a lot of people have wrote to me that how could we miss this film because just we just believed in some reactions and
Right.
some reviews of that film is being slow, but they have just loved it. And I tell the same thing to the people who are unable to and disappointed with watch Gulabo. Let's
Uh,
see it after a few days
yeah,
and see it again, and possibly it may touch you somewhere.
right. And I think Varun was quite a revelation in October, wasn't he? How was it to handle his energy?
Yes, he was coming from a very, very different world,
Yeah,
and my film was a complete different world.
right.
So balancing it was in the initial is a difficult challenge because Varun always, of course, because he's coming from something he wanted to do a lot more,
Right.
and um, I only wanted less. So I think it's just so that was the balancing act that I had to come to. So, but I think he's also, I think he's still, I think I think it's one of his best performance, which
Yeah,
he also doesn't know. I think he's also unaware what he has done. I think slowly maybe he'll recover and see himself
right.
what he has.
Yeah. Uh, A lot of writers and directors are burdened by unfair and false plagiarism allegations by smaller directors. What is the way out for writers in Indian cinema? This question is from Ranveer.
These will keep on coming to you because
Right.
there are a lot of ideas and stories which can be similar.
Yeah.
That's not a problem. But if your conscience is clear and if you are truthful to yourself and is written, you can always stories will have always have your own point of views and um, will be different. And I
Yeah.
think I will thank this Writers Association. They have always, I think they have really matured in finding out nitty-gritties and the essence of the writer who comes and who uh, says that okay, there's a similarity, or
Hmm.
if there is a two stories which are similar, to find out why it's a differentiate why it's original, how
Right.
it is original. Somebody sitting here, somebody sitting in some other part of the world, but may have a similar idea. But still, both work could be original.
Right. Um, uh, Shujit, you want to talk a little about your next movie, Sardar Udham Singh? It's almost done, right?
This is not the right time, but still, I'll tell you that yeah, I finished my shooting. Sardar Udham Singh, a very difficult film for me again. Again, a complete different genre, and a completely, you know, it's like a right of Gulabo Sitabo, not
Right.
left and up. So I think, how do I say it? So my post production is on. I am still doing my, re, I've started my editing process. It's going to take some time. It was supposed to now release in January. I don't know will I be able to meet the deadline of January. Will it? Because everything is getting pushed now.
Yeah.
Uh, so that's what. And Udham Singh is also again a story of an ordinary man,
Right.
like my any other stories.
Exactly.
So I hope I'm able to do justice with Udham Singh.
How was Vicky Kaushal to work with?
He's. I don't want to talk much, but I just want to tell you that you can't think of anybody else doing Udham Singh. That's it.
Okay. Yeah. Great. Thank you so much, Ajit. It's been such a pleasure to talk to you and to understand a little more of Gulabo Sitabo. And I wish you would sing that song, but it's okay. I'll tell people to watch the movie. If nothing, to at least watch the end again to listen to that wonderful song. It's really beautiful. And
Yes, thank you,
thank
Kaveri.
you so much for the film and all your movies. All the very best.
Thank you, Kaveri. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.